Getting your wares to the big cities sometimes involved a great deal of travel, especially for certain goods that the city absolutely could not do without. For instance, in Jerusalem, they had to have frankincense. Without it, there could be no temple worship. Why not? What is frankincense anyway? And where does it come from? I've come to the Negev desert to trace the frankincense trail and learn more about the men who couldn't do their jobs without it, the priests, the same men who clashed with Jesus. Priests were the link between the people and their God, performing animal sacrifices and burning a special incense called frankincense as an offering. Frankincense begins as a tree resin from southern Arabia, but to get it to Jerusalem, it used to have to go through this. I'm in the Negev desert, taking the same route the merchants and camel drivers took. And I'm here to meet Yunus Aburabeya and his herd of camels. Salam alaikum. This is my camel.
Okay.
What's his name?
Shailat.
Shailat.
Okay.
Shailat. The job of camel driver hasn't changed much in 2,000 years. The most important thing is to look after your animal, because we're a long way from anything. They're incredible animals, smarter than the vehicles that replace them. And unlike cars and trucks, they can go over almost any terrain. Cover up my big head. Well, thank you very much.
גמל יכול להכיר מקום ולא לשכוח אותו. אם אנחנו לוקחים אותו לבאר מים והוא שותה, עוד שנה, שנתיים, הוא יכול לחזור לאותו מקום. ויש לו זיכרון, חבל על הזמן.
Bedouins always feed their guests. And if we were ancient merchants, we would certainly need to be fortified for the journey, taking frankincense through the desert to Jerusalem. That is delicious. Now I'm ready for my first camel ride.
Okay.
Oh, I'm on a camel. That's great. And now what do I do? How do I, I should have read the manual before I bought the camel.
Okay.
There's no instructions for this.
Right.
Whoa! That's the big camel. Whoa! That is something else. This is the only way to haul cargo in the desert. These guys are the 18-wheelers of the Middle East. Out here, I can imagine that in the first century, there would have been hundreds of camels and caravans stretched out across the horizon, hauling goods from thousands of miles away towards Jerusalem. And there were jobs along the way, too. Since camels shed, their owners made money from their hair, which was used to make clothing. Remember spinning the yarn back in Nazareth? Imagine doing it while on the road to Jerusalem. Out here, you make use of everything you can, and you paid a toll or tribute to Rome and territories you passed through. No wonder frankincense was so expensive. By the time it got here to Jerusalem, it had been taxed to the hilt. I'm in the souk, or marketplace here in Old Jerusalem. A lot of things have changed over time, but you can still get goods here that were sold during biblical times. This is frankincense. We know it best as one of the gifts that was brought to baby Jesus by the three wise men. How much is this?
This is 100 gram, 12 shekels.
12 shekels for one?
For one, yeah.
For one?
Yes.
Can I smell that?
Yeah, sure.
Sakran.
It's very beautiful frankincense.
That's beautiful, man.
It's good for smell, good for memory, good for anything. Because that many people before 2,050 years ago, he's put all of this in his home.
So 2,000 years ago,
yeah,
this was
people.
used. So everyone.
Everyone.
Some people believe frankincense to be an effective anti-inflammatory, and current medical studies are testing other benefits. But the ancients knew that burning frankincense was an offering they had to make to God. It's still burned in churches today. And 2,000 years ago, pilgrims coming to Jerusalem and entering the temple would have inhaled its sweet fragrance. 3 times a year, the Jewish people came to the temple from all over the world for the major festivals.